We discuss great projects that were to be but never were. And yeah, so maybe what we should do is go down in a line. I think I should start it, actually. Great project that was supposed to be but never was. One of my favorites is The Day the Clown Cried. It was a Jerry Lewis project. And actually it was shot. It was filmed. But apparently it will never be released. Jerry Lewis has it locked in some sort of safe in his mansion. God knows where that is.
Supposedly it's just it's very rough. It's a very rough cut. It's never been completed. I mean, it's been completed, but never really finished, like post-production sound and stuff. There's many varying factors to why it hasn't been released.
Not to mention, well, the most important factor being the subject matter and the plot.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a movie.
If you're a Jerry Lewis fan, a clown fan, or a fan of concentration camps, you can call in. You can call in.
Well, yeah.
Did the number flash up?
Well, it'll flash our number. We'll flash our number up in a
I hope
moment.
so.
Yeah, one of the movies that actually is very similar to that is Life is Beautiful, right, with Roberto
Life
Benigni.
is Beautiful has a lot of similarities.
What about that piece of shit, Jakob the Liar?
That's Jacob the Liar, actually.
No, it's Jakob. Jakob the Liar.
According to Robin Williams, it's
Yeah.
Jakob.
Well, they pronounce it in the American, and when they were
Well, there's a movie coming out. It just got made. It's actually getting really good reviews, starring Jeff Goldblum, where he plays like a music hall comedian in Nazi Germany times.
There's like how many movies you have to do that are lighthearted and funny about the Holocaust?
But
It's
just
such a
for the
lighthearted
uninitiated,
topic.
it's sort of a legendary project. It's this
Reno
project
himself.
about a comedian in Nazi-era Germany, whatever. He gets sent to Auschwitz, and because he insults some Nazi commandant, and they use him to do his comedy stylings to lure children into the ovens, basically, or the gas chamber. And Jerry Lewis saw this project. He not only did he want to star in it, he wanted to direct it. He saw it as his opportunity for an Oscar. And it's a legendary story. It turns out it's awful.
And he financed it himself, by the way.
And he financed it
Well,
himself.
we don't know if it's awful. It could be
yeah, according to
excellent.
Harry Shearer, who was one of the female.
Yeah, one of the 9 people that have seen it. And I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say 9 people.
But you can see like photographs, like there's stills from the film. And Jerry, I mean, it's supposed to take place in 1930s Nazi Germany, or like late 30s, early 40s maybe. And Jerry Lewis still has the slick back hair from the 60s. He's still wearing like the
Patent leather shoes.
Patent leather shoes, and he's got like the rings on his fingers. Like he just can't get rid of that Jerry persona, you know.
There's a scene where Harry Shearer said that there's scenes that were supposed to be touching emotionally, but they come off as very, very funny unintentionally. He said there's a scene where he's like crying at the oven of all the kids who got killed or whatever, and he said it's just absolutely hysterically bad. And he said that's one reason that I think the film has never come out. And also, Jerry Lewis was in the midst of really bad drug addiction at the time, because he just did a movie called Which Way Is My Front? Or Which Way to the Front? And then afterwards, that was his next film, but that was when he was in his, really addicted to pain pills and all this, and so he was in no shape to direct or even act.
So, in other words, unintentional hilarity ensues throughout the film.
Yeah, but like I said, the Holocaust, what a funny subject, especially for Jerry Lewis, But anyway, Jerry Lewis would actually, after this, I believe, it took a long hiatus from films and then came back with a movie called Hardly Working, which I guess the movie was hardly
Jerry
working.
Lewis really never got film respect until he made King of Comedy.
And
that's when, and after that, the only thing he did worth a damn was his turn on Wise Guy.
And what about Funny Bones?
And he was great in that. He was great in Wise Guy.
He was wonderful in
Funny
Wise Guy.
Bones, yeah, was sort of a bid for respectability.
This isn't a Jerry Lewis show, folks.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Get
So
on
anyway,
All right, I'm
If
gonna-
you're a Jerry Lewis fan, you
Google
can call it
The
whatever,
Day the
but-
Clown Cried, Jerry Lewis on the internet. There's a great link to a website dedicated to the story behind this film. It's absolutely fascinating and it's hilarious.
They should make a movie based on the making of the movie. I think that'd be more interesting than the movie
I'll
itself.
tell you what I would have liked to have seen is I would have liked to seen Paul Verhoeven's version of his. Well, I don't know if it had a title or not, but he was supposed to do a film based on the Crusades.
It's called The Crusade.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that, I think, would have been wonderful because it would have been everything. It would have been some of the things we did not get in Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven, which was maybe possibly more gore, even though Kingdom of Heaven was pretty gory. But we would have gotten lots of sexual innuendo and blatant sex. And a lot of blatant nudity.
Coming from Verhoeven too, he would push the envelope.
I think the script would have been intelligent, subversive, and fun.
Well, what's that movie he made? Flesh and Blood is probably give you a good idea what a Crusades movie would be
That
like
was
by Paul
good,
Verhoeven.
but kind of boring. Jennifer Jason Leigh completely naked in that. Rutger Hauer, his usual.
What about a good script, Mike?
Yes, Mike.
What about a good story?
What about a good rape scene, Mike?
all like
you're
to see
always
the
actually-
titties.
Definitely not. It
That's
has a
the
good
joke.
bad
rape
heads
scene.
coming.
It has a good rape scene in that, actually.
So anyway, there you
There's
go.
a good one, huh?
I'm not into that sort.
Paul Verhoeven, Crusade film. What about you, pal?
Well, mine is a kind of double-edged one and probably stereotypical for me. It's actually Spike Lee's never got to make a Jackie Robinson biofilm, but also he also wanted to make a Joe Louis biofilm, and both of those never got made, even though he had Denzel Washington in line to star for the Jackie Robinson story, and he had Terrence Howard in line more for the Joe Louis story, and
Those are two good choices, actually.
Yes, and they were both actually co-written by Bud Schulberg, who is a notorious
legendary
screenwriter, and that is why it is amazing that they never got filmed. And he had wanted to do it initially because Jackie Robinson's, I believe, his 50th anniversary of being in the major leagues was coming up, and he wanted to do it coincide with the same time, which would have been the perfect time for the film to come out. But unfortunately, the powers that be, the film never got made, and it was also, when you listen to his interviews, it sounds like these are two projects that he was really jazzed about and really, close to his heart. And I feel anytime Spike Lee has a passion for a project, the end results are, amazing, because that's how Malcolm X came about, and that was so great. So.
Did you get to read today about his next vanity project? Not vanity project, but his next biopic, which he wants to make?
Which is?
Wesley Snipes as James Brown. That's not a joke. He just talked about that today.
I mean, he wanted to
think
make,
this is
initially he
ridiculous.
wanted to make Ali, but unfortunately it was not to be, so.
Wesley Snipes had his moments. He just kind of.
I just
his
can't
experience
imagine him as
of downturn in
James
his
Brown,
career.
man. Come on,
It would be
could
an
you?
interesting off-kilter choice.
I don't think
which
Wesley
can
Snipes
work.
is a bad actor. He's just really.
But
he's
not
kinda,
for James Brown.
He's kind of had like 10 years of. Him and Christian Slater have basically shared a career for the last 10 years, I think.
I don't
Well, it
think.
could be the comeback project he needs.
I wonder if that rerun is still airing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Terrence Howard would be a very good James Brown, though. I have to
Gloria,
say.
can we get a signal if we're
I
still
have
live?
no idea.
Are we
Or
live, people?
Are we just looking?
Well, we
Oh,
are
all
live.
right.
So nobody cares.
Thank you.
Does anyone out there think of any projects or stuff they would have liked?
It
to
can
have
be
seen?
off subject if you want to just call
Where's
in.
E. Lang? We need her to
I would love
juice
somebody.
us up here.
Even a blank dial tone would be very nice.
Eddie,
right now.
Eddie, give
Yeah.
us a project that you knew.
All
was
right. Well,
supposed
one
to
project that
be
I've
that
always
never
been interested in
was.
because it's one of the most legendary projects. In fact, this project actually helped make Alien. The film is Dune. Dune was originally supposed to be directed by Alejandro Jodorowsky in the 70s, and in fact, a couple of people who actually worked on the film actually went on to do Alien. Dan O'Bannon was actually working as a set designer and with Ron Cobb, who actually, these two guys actually went on to do Alien. The film, Jodorowsky actually had many, many beautiful sketches and production stills. In fact, you can see them, I believe, some of them in a documentary on him on that box set, which you talked about earlier.
Well, the audience doesn't know we talked about it.
Well, anyway, there's a box set of Jodorowsky and there's a documentary on Jodorowsky, and this film was supposed to be legendary. It was going to be made for years, but the problem with a movie like Dune or a book is that the book is so large, it's hard to condense it. And
for fans of the comic or graphic magazine Heavy Metal, Mobius was collaborating with him on the designs for the film.
yeah, it was some beautiful stuff.
Comic book
and
artist, yeah.
Salvador Dali was lined up to play the Emperor. And then it went on to be. I was offered to. I believe, oh yes,
Oh,
hi.
Hey, we got a caller.
Hot son of a gun.
Yes.
Hey.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we hear
So
you.
we can hear you.
Hi, Eric Cohen, Jonathan Bayless.
John Bayless. Hey, man, how you doing?
No, we actually got two callers.
we got two
at the
callers.
same
Yeah.
time.
It's like bad 3D.
Oh, it's a
It's a little crowded. I was going to say Kubrick was originally wanting to do a Napoleon film.
That was
Yes,
his last
that's on our-
film.
yeah.
That was going to be his last film. He was going to do AI, and then he was going to do Napoleon. Actually, he wanted to do Napoleon with Jack Nicholson, but then the Grim Reaper got the best of him.
There's a great article recently in The Guardian, the UK paper, written by a guy who actually visited his estate after his death, and his Kubrick's assistant took him to this one room where it's just filled with file cabinets, just filled with all sorts of data on Napoleon, all these books, everything. It's a really interesting article. If you just Google it, look it up. It's
I'm
great.
surprised that a film has not been made on Napoleon really yet, because Napoleon is a very, very famous, historical character, and it
Oh,
boggles
there's
the
films
mind.
made on Napoleon. Are you kidding me? Abel Gance?
I'm talking like something like mainstream Hollywood,
the film starring Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando played Napoleon. I forgot the name of it.
Speaking of Stanley Kubrick here.
All right, Dalton.
Hey, we got a call from the operator.
Thanks,
telling
John.
us that,
Thanks for
yeah.
calling in.
Yeah, and the person who also called, who we got the calls
And
line,
we're
please
sorry-
call back.
Yeah, try again.
Please call
I'm
back.
sure you're not going to run into a busy
That was
signal.
no sign of disrespect.
Speaking of Stanley Kubrick, he also had a couple other different projects that he was either offered and refused to do, or films that he wanted to do, but for reasons he did not do them. Lord of the Rings, he was offered by United Artists, and after he read the book, he said it was unfilmable, that they didn't have the technology to pull off some of the things like Mount Doom and
I could agree with
whatever. He also wanted to do a book adaptation of Dirty Movie by Terry Southern, and his wife said, "If you film this, I will leave you." And he decided not to do Dirty
It's a
Movie.
hilarious
Since you
novel.
guys are
It's really good.
very big Kubrick fans, I remember reading an article in the 90s where he talked about a project that he was filming where he would film an actor, like a boy actor growing up. This could have been AI, I'm not
It
sure.
was AI.
He filmed him every 2 years, and then after he saw Jurassic Park, he completely scrapped the entire project.
Well, he just realized that the technology he wanted to make AI with a real boy robot.
By the way, folks, we are going to do a Kubrick episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
luckily enough, they got as close as they could with Haley Joel Osment, the hatchet-faced little mook, who is as close to a
Jesus.
human robot as you can get.
Well, it's a shame that Spielberg had to ruin it.
Going back to Dune.
Yes,
Just,
Dune.
just in case our audience doesn't notice, Joe Dorosky directed the famous cult midnight movie El
El
Topo.
Topo
He also
and
did the
Holy Mountain, and
Holy
also one of my
Mountain,
favorite
which
films,
is bizarre
Santa
beyond
Sangre.
all.
Santa Sangre.
Santa Sangre is great.
One of the best films I think ever made, honestly. But yeah, Dune would have
Bad
been.
Death Wish 3.
Hey, Death Wish 3 is one of the most entertaining films ever made.
All right, come
Sucker.
on, let's come up with some
All right,
more.
I got no. Another
Okay.
favorite project that they keep trying to do but never happens. This is only because I'm a big fan of the novel. I'm going to tell you the novel's name. You won't recognize the movies yet. The novel is Red Harvest. It's one of my favorite novels by Dashiell Hammett. It was made officially one time early 1930s as a film called Roadhouse Nights, but it was filmed as a comedy starring Jimmy Durante. Flash forward like a couple decades later, Kurosawa puts out a film called Yojimbo, which bared some uncanny similarities to this novel, to the extent where the Hammett estate were like, what's up with that? Kurosawa claimed he never read the novel, although there are scenes directly lifted from it. Flash forward a few more years later, and we have A Fistful of Dollars, which was a ripoff off of Yojimbo. The producers behind that film knew that they were aping Yojimbo, but to protect their asses, they also heard about Yojimbo being a film version of Red Harvest, so they quickly bought the film rights to Red Harvest. So by the time Kurosawa's people got to them and said, hey, we're suing you for aping our film, they responded, no, our film is an adaptation of Red Harvest.
And,
Now,
well, what about that piece of garbage, Last Man Standing?
Last Man
Hey,
Standing.
that's a good movie.
However, the reason why Last Man Standing got made is because Walter Hill got away with saying, no, it's a remake of Yojimbo. You see, Bertolucci wanted to do the ultimate film version of Red Harvest, would star Jack Nicholson and Deborah Winger. He couldn't get it done because this Italian producer put such a high price tag on the rights to it, no one could afford it.
You know what's so interesting too is that Kurosawa, a little while later, made The Seven Samurai.
Hello?
Oh.
Yes, hello.
Bated breath.
Well, anyway, while we're waiting for that call, The Seven Samurai. The Seven Samurai was later remade
Magnificent
as
Seven, but that's
Magnificent
an
Seven.
obvious,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that was like
And then
done.
Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yes.
Anybody
What
out there?
about caller?
Well,
what about Terry
call back,
Gilliam
please.
making either The Watchmen or Minority Report? He was supposed to do both of them.
Oh, I wish he would have done Minority Report because it sure would have turned out better than that piece of shit that came out from Spielberg.
I agree. Well, what about Paul Greengrass's Watchmen, which we could have had?
Or Darren
Until the studio-
Aronofsky doing
yeah.
Watchmen,
Darren
which would have
Aronofsky.
turned out to be a
Awful.
disaster.
Garbage.
Actually, you know what? One of my what could have beens is the Anthony Burgess script for A Spy Who Loved Me. I would love to read
For
that.
people who are laymen and do not know who Anthony Burgess is, he is the gentleman that wrote A Clockwork Orange.
Exactly.
And I have one. Since you brought Anthony Burgess up, I would love to have seen A Clockwork Orange with the original ending, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. At the original book of A Clockwork Orange, there was two versions of the book. There was one written for
Well, yeah,
America,
well,
and there was one written in England. And I believe, I forget which one it was, but one of the endings actually had Alex,
He gets
get
old.
married. He
Yeah.
gets married, has a kid.
That's yeah.
And Kubrick was unaware of this. And when he found out about it, he was really pissed because he said he would have loved to have filmed that.
I don't know why he was unaware. All he had to do was read the book.
No, he did read the book, but he got the British version, which didn't have that ending because it was a revised edition or something. I remember reading that. I thought that was very interesting. But he
What
said
happened
he
to our
regrets that.
caller?
I don't know.
It's Valens again.
We knew you wouldn't have much trouble getting through. We have the
we count on you,
laziest
buddy.
4 fans.
They won't pick up they won't speed dial us. Go ahead.
So what's going on?
I was going to say, you just mentioned Aronofsky. That guy was also going to make Frank Miller's Ronin, and he was also going to do The Dark Knight.
That's right. Actually, he was
That's
going to do.
correct.
He was going to do a version of
right.
like a Batman. It was going to be.
It was going to be year one.
Year one.
Batman Year One. And
Wasn't
actually,
Aronofsky going to do year one, John?
Say that again?
Wasn't Aronofsky's Batman film going to be year one?
Oh, you know what? You might be right. You might be right about
It was going to be a complete relaunch. From what I understand, I read somewhat like a draft of it. He was going to make like Bruce Wayne a mechanic and like Alfred a black mechanic, and it was going to be like low budget Batman. It was supposed to be like a $15 million movie.
I just think it's funny. Aronofsky had Watchmen, he had Ronin, he had Batman Year One. Instead, he gets The Fountain.
And you forget else what he's doing now, which makes me want to cry. He's doing a relaunch of RoboCop.
Yeah. I know
God,
what's
son
going
Well,
on
who knows?
with
That might
Bitch.
fall to pieces too. It seems like this guy's got the withering touch.
No,
Unbelievable.
he signed. It's going to happen, unfortunately.
Thanks again, Jonathan.
it. No problem. Anyway, I got one more thing on Watchmen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
When I was in college, they did that guy Sam Hamm, who wrote Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah, he wrote the original
of
script.
The Watchmen. He was one of the worst things I ever read.
I heard
I
it
read
sucks.
it too. It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's a comedy. They write it like a comedy.
The concept of his script, the screenplay of Watchmen, is that the Watchmen are alternate reality heroes.
Right.
And at the end, they enter into our universe. It's
That's one thing I
completely
think we
not.
should all agree on, though. I mean, it's very difficult to adapt a book of that length into a 2-hour movie.
Well, that's for the longest time. I mean, even Terry Gilliam gave up on it because he said this should be a miniseries. So it'll be interesting to see what Snyder does with it.
Well, that's what happened with The Stand. The Stand, I don't know if you're familiar with Stephen King's version of The Stand.
George
was
Romero.
Well, Stephen King was for years trying to adapt the movie because the book is about,
if you're a Stephen
it's
King
huge.
fan, you can call in.
It's
you
huge.
lazy motherfuckers.
And for years, they tried to condense it into a 2-hour version because George Romero was supposed to direct it. It just couldn't happen. So then they went to Mick Garris, and they made it into a TV miniseries, and it was a 4-part miniseries.
However, apparently, J.J. Abrams is going to do The Stand.
Marvel Comics is adapting it.
Oh, wow. You're still there? Okay, good. I'm glad you're here. No,
Yeah, the adaptation.
John's like our 5th panelist.
I know.
now.
I should just say, I just want to, because out of appreciation for his calling in and being a good sport, John has a really good collection of his comic strip out there. It's called Sew Buttons, and it's being sold in limited bookstores around the United States, but it is out there.
Why is he being a good sport? We're not picking on him.
Yeah, he's hanging in there. No one else is calling
Yeah.
in.
I was gonna say.
We didn't advertise tonight.
Pretty much.
I don't know if anyone's even watching. but
Normally we have like 3 fans, but well, it looks like we're only getting with.
I would take a Richard Christie prank.
We have another
Yeah.
caller.
Oh, it's a
Thank you.
miracle.
Hello.
Hello.
All right.
I guess
Okay.
we don't have one. Just hello.
Hello?
Hey.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello? Oh, Eric, not to get too retro.
Okay, you
Then
didn't
you
get you
don't
didn't get
know.
too retro. So you hung
I
up.
hope you guys
Okay.
didn't cut him off because you thought he was whatever. We got to hear these guys.
I don't know.
I want
It
a
was
crank.
It was an old guy calling from a bar.
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's up?
All right, well, actually going back to Dune, Sci-Fi Channel had a really good adaptation of it.
I disagree. I didn't
liked
like
it. I liked it.
I didn't like it.
I thought for television it was pretty well made.
I liked. It sounded like some barroom tough was doing the narration. It just sounded weird. I didn't mind the paintings at the beginning to give kind of the history of that universe.
No. He's talking about the remake for Sci-Fi Channel with William
Oh
Hurt.
no! I thought it was the David Lynch recut version.
I even like the David Lynch recut version. It makes more sense.
I thought the made-for-TV one
I thought
was
it was
pretty
horrible.
uninspired.
I thought it was pretty good for television.
Oh,
in terms of
I thought it was
design,
William Hurt was
though, in terms
good.
of production design and
I
stuff.
thought it was
just-
Well, they shot
horrible.
it very low budget. You got to take
Yeah,
that
but-
into
It was
account.
horrible.
What about Fahrenheit 451? Wasn't that out there somewhere?
Yeah. Frank Dernbach was supposed to do one.
And,
And
Mel
Gibson
Mel
was
Gibson
gonna be
was supposed
involved.
to do it. Tom Cruise was supposed to star in it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't see it happening.
That isn't.
What?
That isn't.
Mel Gibson?
Yeah, Mel Gibson was supposed to direct and star in.
No. Mel Gibson was going to direct it. Tom Cruise was going to be his star.
Well, I thought Mel Gibson was going to cast.
I
it.
think he was. I thought Mel Gibson
No,
was
no,
in it,
he
too.
was going to direct it, and Tom Cruise was going to be his lead.
All right.
Well, so you brought up Tom Cruise. Did you know Tom Cruise was originally supposed to play Iron Man at one time?
And if you saw one of our recent shows, you would know that.
You know Tom Cruise was originally supposed to play Iron Man at one time?
Well, fuck you for cutting me off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, what the fuck was that?
Oh, that was the old guy going, not to be retro.
Well, he's not retro.
What else, Jeff?
Before I put me on the. Oh,
Yeah,
it wasn't
put you
me.
on the spot. It's
Yeah.
live TV.
Hello. Hello.
Hello? Okay, Jeff, why don't you mention
Okay,
something
there was Francis Ford Coppola's Megatropolis, his $100 million.
Yeah, so star Clive Owen, right?
Yeah, but I thought it would have been better made if it was made maybe more while Francis Ford Coppola was in his prime instead of now when he's more of a for-hire director. I just don't feel like he has the vision and the passion anymore.
He's not even a for-hire director. He's a winery guy now.
Well, yeah, because he made that film Youth Without Youth, which I wouldn't make anybody sit through unless you're really part of his family. Because really,
That
it's not,
bad, huh?
Yeah, it's not that great. Even though Tim Roth is in it, but it's him going through an experimental phase, and it's just if this is the type of product he's going to put out right now, maybe it's better that film never got made currently.
It's sad because you think of Coppola, not to go on a tangent, but Coppola did 4 films in the 70s. Every one of them is a masterpiece. Godfather 1, Godfather 2, Conversation, and Apocalypse Now. After that,
It's more hit or miss.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but I think with somebody like Coppola, ego can really take control, and I don't know.
All right, how about this? Let's go to a big director, another big director, like Spielberg. Spielberg was originally supposed to do an Indiana Jones sequel, Indiana Jones and the Monkey King, which is based on a very famous Chinese folklore about this person who's half man, half ape.
Wait, was he supposed to do that, or was that one of the script options?
That was one of the scripts, and in fact, I mean, there was many scripts written. Unfortunately, they didn't get made. I mean, there was many Indiana Jones scripts written over the years. In fact, Frank Darabont wrote one, a couple, and there was a few others. In fact, there was one where I think...
Well, the Darabont one was available online for a while.
I believe it was.
Yeah,
you're right.
we're not going to turn this show into another Indiana Jones.
No. Just
Well,
talking.
Caller,
Yes.
please help us.
Well, he hung up.
Fuck you again. Hang up on me, will ya?
Didn't Spielberg have some vanity projects that never went through? That were pretty big? I'm trying to remember.
Usually that turkey gets anything green-lighted. I mean, whatever he wants, and I think he can just acquire anything he wants. And what about David Lynch doing Return of the Jedi?
Oh,
he was offered and he turned it down.
Who else he was offered was Fast Times at
Ridgemont High.
That's true.
It's
Awesome.
listen to the
I never
commentary.
heard of that.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
God, I would love to see the
Awesome.
David Lynch.
Did
Fast
you know how it
Times at
happened?
Ridgemont.
Oh, that would beat Return of the Jedi without...
Hi, gentlemen.
Hello!
What can you tell me about the supposed remake of Fantastic Voyage, please?
I read very briefly it was supposed to be remade, but I mean, it was just an idea thrown out there. I don't think it was ever seriously considered. I can tell you, though, if you want to see a good remake, see Inner Space. It's basically the same movie.
But funny?
Yeah.
Martin Short's kind of funny in it, I guess.
Depends how much you can stand Martin Short.
It's an all right
Oh, Martin Short's awesome.
He's
funny.
okay. He's not.
Dude,
great
awesome.
now.
He
Martin
is-
Short is a comedy genius.
The Jiminy Glick stuff is hilarious.
I disagree.
He does a good David
I'm
Lynch.
sorry.
Oh, what?
I said I disagree.
The guy that thinks
Sorry.
Michael Ian Black, who is funny, who is a black hole of humor.
But see,
Michael
Michael
Ian
Ian Black is
he-
funny in a totally different
Oh,
way.
he's
Not
so
on film.
smarmy. Michael Ian Black is so smarmy that if I saw him in person, I'd strangle him.
Usually you two are having this fisticuffs.
I'm just happy to watch
I'm
this car
sorry.
crash over here.
Okay, Martin Short, I am not saying is without talent, but I just don't find him as hilarious as everybody else does. Not everything he does inspires me to laugh. I'm sorry.
The
Point for Jeff.
Jiminy Glick is genius.
Hmm.
Point for Jeff. What
A
are you
guy
doing?
in a fat suit
I'm getting him
interviewing
talking.
celebrities.
Oh,
Hey, he
and
does
he's
it-
big ego driven.
Hey, he does do a good David Lynch. Give him that.
I didn't see Jiminy Glick in La La Land. to see
Jiminy
that.
Glick is hilarious. It's just there's so many levels of funny in there.
Getting back to the topic at hand,
Yes,
why
thank
did
you.
David Lynch turn down?
He said he reason turned down
Return
Return
of
of
the
the
Jedi, I
Jedi. It's
don't
not
think he
my
got-
movie. It'd be George's movie.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
said.
he wasn't seeing eye to eye with George
And
Lucas.
why Fast Time at Ridgemont?
Fast and Ridgemont High, Cameron Crowe, they were trying to come up with directors, and he said he just saw Eraserhead, and he said he loved it, so he said, why not have him direct it? And David Lynch was like, no, thank
Oh
you.
my God.
I would have loved to have seen that, though. 'cause I mean, those-
Spicoli would be played by a dwarf.
yeah, and Crispin Glover would probably be like, what is it, the Richard Ramones character. I could just see it now. But yeah,
Mike
that's
DeBone.
Great.
Mike. Yeah, thank you.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm serious. Wouldn't that be awesome, though? David Lynch doing a teen comedy.
Let's talk about John Borman's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, this was
That's
some.
a fascinating story.
This was something that I don't know. Now that I mean, it's a disaster that was narrowly avoided, or maybe not narrowly avoided. I don't know if it was ever seriously considered. But hey, look, we're off.
Well, we mentioned one quick thing because you brought him up. John Borman, actually, a film that he got fired from, actually made another director into a superstar again. He was on A Simple Plan, and then he got replaced with Sam Raimi after shooting.
Ah,
Interesting.
Big mistake for him because that's
A
what
Simple
got Sam
Plan,
Raimi.
a fantastic film.
Thank you for the people who actually called and
Thank
asked
you.
Scholars.
through.
We missed E. Lang. Where was
Too
she?
bad you didn't hear that fascinating story about John Borman's Lord of the Rings.
Well, you'll hear it next time.
That's for a
or
next
watch
one.
our Lord of the Rings show.
Yeah.
Our Peter Jackson show, we talk about it.
Yeah, Peter Jackson.
We talk about it briefly.
Thanks for all 3 callers.
Thank you. All right.
Fuck you, Eric Cohen.
Fuck you guys for hanging up on me.
Okay. I'll give you this live show to